2 to try to stem the flow of aggression, and a big right hand again from Molina, twice in a row. And Babic, true to his word, is taking the shots and still moving forward.
That little exchange.
2 to try to stem the flow of aggression, and a big right hand again from Molina, twice in a row. And Babic, true to his word, is taking the shots and still moving forward.
That little exchange.
What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe and lick off the bell. Wow, I can't even lie to you, man. Yeah, didn't have a clue who this Babic cat was, but listen, I'm impressed. Now before I go into how impressed I am, I want to tell you, man, this right now. What we know is Babic is not only on this thing, ODT. Yeah, he active. Never mind AJ posting activity active in the bando on his Snapchat. You best believe Babic is active. He stay active. He stay ready. Yeah, 100%. He loyal to his set, no doubt. Yeah, but like I was saying, why I rate Babic even more? Not for the fact that he's ODT. Not for the fact that he on this thing. Not for the fact that he active. Not for the fact that he on site, but for the fact that he is a cruiserweight. Yeah? So this proves, a lot of time, for years I've been saying AJ should train with to increase his defense, or offensive defense. Not Mike Tyson's style, but essentially AJ was known as a wrecking ball. But he was never, his guard wasn't the tightest, his defense wasn't the slickest. Think about people like James Toney and whatnot. In my opinion, AJ should have worked on a slick defense in the pocket, tight guard, parries, catch parries, yeah, slip sliding. I mean, to be honest, look at Alvarez. There's no reason, for the type of athlete AJ is, there's no reason those skills with the right trainer couldn't be taught. Could be done. I believe so. That's what you should have been working on. Becoming a more efficient machine, fighting machine, a more efficient dissector. People say, low IQ fake boxing fans say, oh, YB, you like rock'em sock'em. YB, you want to see a brawl. What? You man are proper thick, you know. Just because you're in the pocket, just because you ain't going back, don't mean you can't be slick. Again, Alvarez, he don't really go back, but he's slick. Oops. Nothing to do with brawl. It's to do with who you are as a person. In as much as, look at AJ's attributes. Don't tell me all you want to see is a brawl. No, I want to see someone who big like that, do something with it. What's the point of having big muscles, being strong, and you want to run around on the back foot? It don't make no sense. But apart from to you fake, goofy boxing fans. Oh, YB, mate, it's IQ, YB. It's IQ. There's horses for courses. Look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. He ain't made to run around backwards. It shouldn't take a rocket scientist to work that out. Now, just because AJ's tall, he isn't lanky. Which means he needs to use his attributes, which are going forward. Big thick legs, big thick arms. And what I believe, a decent chin. Because guess what? We've never seen him iced. And if Tyson Fury can go from eyes rolled in his head to get up, so can AJ. Difference is, Fury accepts his fate. AJ flaps. Well, now he does anyway. Because when he was in there with Dillian White, he weren't flapping. He was happy. In there exchanging, having fun. These days, after years of Rob McCrappen, after years of abuse from Rob McCrappen, yeah? After years of AJ being kept in Rob McCrappen's basement, yeah? On some Stockholm thing, yeah? Rob Fritzl. Rob McFritzl. Listen, wait a minute. Listen, Rob McFritzl. Yeah? Listen, Rob Joseph Fritzl. Yeah? Rob McFritzl. Yeah? Rob McFritzl. Listen to me right now. Get AJ out of your basement. Yeah? Mr. McFritzl, I'm going to ring the police and they're coming down to your basement to get AJ out of there. Because we know for a fact you've been hiding the real AJ in there. 100%. I'm hearing Rob McFritzl, that 5 years ago, when AJ signed him, he's in the basement. 100%. Rob McFritzl has been hiding the real AJ. This is an imposter. 100%. The real AJ, he posted up. Rob been hiding him. Yeah? Rob locked him away in some next basement thing. 100%. But anyway, what I'm saying is, guess what? At the start of this video, I showed you, man, 2 clips. And the 2 clips were of Babic, number 1, He in there with Tom Little. And bear in mind, like I said, what do we know? Babic is a cruiserweight. So you've got a cruiserweight who isn't a full heavyweight. In my opinion, he's not as athletically gifted as AJ. But he in there, and he don't stop winging shots. He don't stop winging shots. Now, I'm not saying he's the most technically gifted, but guess what? That's what training's supposed to be for. AJ is 10 years in. 10 years of offensive finesse. You should be getting good at it now. It don't take that long. What have you been doing? I'll tell you what you've been doing. You've been doing Rob McFritzel. Yeah? Rob McCrappen, aka Rob McFritzel. That's what you've been doing. He don't know what he's doing. He don't know how to train a Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis hybrid. The YB does. Oops. Because I'll tell you now, if I was working with AJ, it'd be I'd tell AJ, listen, if by the end of this camp, you do not look like Lennox Lewis times by Mike Tyson, I'm quitting. Because I ain't got no business being here. Yeah? Because I believe you need to be Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis hybrid. Simple as that. And if it ain't working, I'm out of here. I'm not hanging around for a payday like Ron McCrappen, like Mr. McFritzel. Yeah? No win, no fee. Lawyer style. 100%. No win, no fee. That's how it should be. Because I believe when you've got an athlete like AJ, if you ain't winning, in fact, no KO, no fee. Because I believe if you've got an athlete like AJ in this division today, which is a bunch of bums in my opinion, if you ain't getting KOs, what are you doing? You need to be sacked. That should be the standard. Never mind losing. Never mind getting your head boxed off by a cruiserweight. If you don't get a KO, sacked. Move on. Find someone else. That's how great you should believe you are. Not fanning around with Pulev for 12 rounds. And look how Babic comes out now. I understand people are going to say, AJ superfans are going to say, YB mate, you know, look at the quality of opponent. Listen, the quality of the opponent don't matter. It's about the principle. Yeah? It's about the principle. And we're going to find out anyway. Let's see how Babic does get on. I'm going to bet you bottom dollar he comes straight out. Because that's who he is, I believe. He comes straight out and gets on it, hops on it early. Winging away heavy shots. That's what you need to be doing. And another highlighted point. He takes shots and they bounce off. It's about taking shots, yeah. For example, it's a mindset. Now, you can go down. But nonetheless, it's still a mindset. Because when you're nervous, when you're anticipating getting hit or getting hurt, it tells. And the shots look 10 times worse. When you've accepted your fate, it's a completely different ballgame. When you're confident about it. For example, we've seen AJ in there with Vlad. He wasn't twitching with Vlad. He wasn't twitching with Dillian. He was in there flowing. Okay, I've been hit. Whatever. Carry on. That reminded me of Babic. Babic gets hit by Molina. He gets hit. He just comes straight forward. Don't matter. He even puts his hand down at one point. And that's what I said to you, man. What did I tell you for months, for years? I said, before the Pulev fight, I said, listen, if I was training AJ, the whole camp would be training with our hands down and just walk forward. It'd be simple as that. Because the shots, I'm on some butt naked thing. I'm on some general butt naked thing. We're going straight forward, hands down. Yeah? We're going straight forward, hands down. What's he going to do? He ain't going to do nothing. The same way, general butt naked, didn't wear no clothes to scare his opponent. Imagine how scary it is, yeah, having a 6'6" Africanulese just walk forward with his hands down. You can be like, what's going? Pulev's backhand would have flapped, especially after his jab and his right hand get slipped and or don't do nothing because we're coming forward anyway. Oops. He can be flapping. Yeah? That's what's going to happen. You have to adopt the mentality of a Terminator. The shots can't... The bullet... Listen, I'm telling you now. We've seen warlords believe bullets can't hurt them. Yeah? So if they can do it with bullets, you can do it with a man with gloves on. An old man at that. Pulev. And even Usyk. Again, if people can believe that bullets can't hurt them, you can believe, with the YB in your camp, AJ will believe that a cruiserweight who can't punch at cruiserweight ain't gonna do nothing at heavyweight. Yeah? That's what you gotta do. Walk straight forward, hands down, and you have to believe it. You have to believe it. This man can't hurt me. Now, if you go in there, Rob McCrappen style, yeah? If you go in there, Rob McFritzel style, and you're flapping about, cruiserweight, I'm gonna get knocked out, spark out, and of course, the first thing you get hit with, like AJ did in the first round, he was flapping. He was shook. because his whole camp is shook. You heard Rob in there. Oh, AJ's behind the jab. Get lighter on your feet. Wow. Lighter on your feet. You've got a wrecking ball. Do some wrecking. Do some Babic. And by the way, again, I don't want to hear nothing about, YB, it's about competition. To someone like AJ, this is a cruiserweight doing this, people. A cruiserweight showing no respect. So when you are... For me, if a cruiserweight can go in there with heavyweights and get stuck in, then don't tell me AJ can't get stuck in with these kind of guys. A cruiserweight. An old man in Pulev. There was absolutely no reason for AJ not to come out in the Pulev fight and just walk forward and just ring away Babic style. No reason. And again, I'm not saying that AJ should abandon his jab. If I was training AJ, the Pulev fight, like I said, would have been coming forward with a jab. Driving forward with a jab. No back steps though. Going back for what? Listen, I'll tell AJ, if you want to go back, explain why. Explain why you're going back. Explain why Africanulese is going back against 40-year-old dude who had never thrown an inside shot. I've never seen Pulev throw 2 hooks or an uppercut and a hook. Never seen it. So what are you going back for? And if you can explain to me why Africanulese needs to go back against Pulev, then we can talk about it. But until then, you're going forward. No back steps. No back. We don't know how to go back in this camp because we're going forward. And the jab going forward, and when we get on top of him, we open it up. And then if and when we get tired, we lean in. If and when we get tired, we lean in and was mauling all over him. Hands down. 100%. Babic style. Because guess what? You saw it there. Babic got a bit tired, dropped his hand and walked forward some more. Now what? What can happen now? Yeah? And guess what? If you get hit, if you get hit, you get back up. It's not a big deal. And the worst thing is people say, oh, but YB, you know, you got to think about his health. You're getting rocked anyway. It's not like, I wouldn't mind so much if you were saying, well, but YB, he's super slick and he ain't getting hit. He's getting popped in your mouth anyway. You can't miss. Usyk couldn't miss his left straight hand if he tried to miss it. You was eating it all night anyway. So don't give me that rubbish. You're going to get hit anyway. So you might as well accept it. Babic accepts. I'm probably going to get hit, but guess what? I'm coming straight forward. Because you don't understand, especially psychologically. Do you know how scary it is seeing a big man just walk forward, no matter what happens? That there is what you call self-doubt.com. Big hardback man like AJ, running backwards. That there turns people on. They think, wow, I've got this big for nothing looking ass dude running backwards. I like this. I like seeing Africanulese run around. Yeah? It turns them on even more. Usyk was rock hard for AJ. You saw it. That last round. You can believe it. You can believe big Africanulese on the ropes, rocking and rolling. Yeah? Babic. Bottom line. I don't want to hear no more about it. Coming straight forward. Straight forward. Elbows in, chin down. No back steps. And to be honest, it's the same. The Pulev fight for me is the same as Usyk fight. Because Usyk cruiserweight. Usyk couldn't punch at cruiserweight. He couldn't. Yeah? One of my big criticisms of Usyk was he can't punch at cruiserweight. We're going forward. We're driving forward a jab. And that's another thing, in fact. Look at the passion. Look at the passion of Babic in the shots. Compare that to the AJ fight versus Usyk. In fact, as well, a lot of people have criticised Eric Molina. Oh, he came for a payday. I beg to differ. And you know what? I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but just quickly. Eddie Hearn was criticising Eric Molina. Eddie, watch AJ versus Usyk. Eric Molina was not an A-side. Eric Molina is not Africanulese. Eric Molina is 40 years old and washed. Eric Molina was never all that. But Eric Molina, despite all these miscomings, Mr. Teacher, yeah? Eric Molina in that 2 minutes or that 4 minutes he was in the ring, he showed more heart than AJ did. Because watch the shots Eric Molina was throwing. Eric Molina was trying. Yeah, he was in there with a better, younger man, a stronger man, a hungry man. But he was, look at the shots. Call me a liar. AJ superfans, call me a liar. Go back and watch AJ versus Usyk, and then watch Molina versus Babic. And you tell me if AJ ever threw a shot like Eric Molina did. Eric Molina was in there and he was giving it for 4 minutes. And as a fan, I'd rather watch that. Yeah, if AJ gone in there for 4 minutes and proper loaded up and just got gas, and I'd have laughed at him, or I'd have criticised his cardio, but I'd have said, I'd have rather watched that than watch what we saw. Because as a top athlete, you should be doing that anyway. AJ should have been in there throwing heavy shots anyway. That fight looked like a sparring session. Compare it to Molina versus Babic. Both of them men were throwing heavy shots. Both of them men were loading up, going for it. So I'm sorry, I'm not shocked that Eric Molina rolled over at the end. He was gassed, I think. It's tiring, loading up. It's tiring committing to shots. And the reason I respect Eric Molina is because he had a man in front of him winging heavy shots. And he was trying, I saw what he was doing. A lot of low IQ so-called boxing fans, Hatman, was criticising Eric Molina. Oh, Eric Molina came for a payday. Oh, I disagree. Because it's very hard to continue fighting, yeah. I saw Eric Molina trying to execute a plan. And the plan was a smart plan. The plan was what everyone does in that situation. Or, sorry, every pro who knows what they're doing, Eric Molina did the right thing. And that thing was, he was trying to get the respect of Babic. Do you understand? He knew, if I'm going to make it anywhere in this fight, I need to get the respect. And he tried that. Yeah, and he failed. But he couldn't do it. But he tried, is the point. For example, Malik Scott versus Deontay Wilder. That's an example of a fighter taking the Michael. A punch didn't even land. He didn't throw no punches back and is on the floor in a big heap. That's taking the piss. But a man go in there, get mauled by Babic, and within that 4 minutes of getting mauled, he was loading up, going for it. Every single shot Molina threw, you could see he was trying to say, take this and back off. Every single one. Every single shot he threw was marked with the intention of, this shot's going to be the one to get him off me. And make him back up for a bit and give him something to think about. Every single one. And the fact that it didn't work, and I believe he was gassed, what's he supposed to do? And to be honest, I think he made the count. I think it was a bad stoppage, to be honest. He made the count. The ref should have let it carry on. The ref waved it off. But I'm not blaming that. Yeah, he probably should have got up a bit earlier, but either way. In my opinion, Molina had a better performance than AJ did. Because at least Molina fans can say, well, he tried. You know what I'm saying? For that round he was in there, he gave it what he had. No one, I don't care what no one says, no one can take that away from Molina. Watch it yourselves. You tell me how much effort Molina was putting into them shots. It wasn't 10%. He was putting 80-90% in. Trying his best to get Babic off of him. He couldn't do it. Well, he lost. That's how it goes sometimes. But that's how AJ, as you've seen from the title, AJ can learn a lot from Babic. 100%. Now, we'll see how Babic gets on in other fights, but so far so good. And I know people will say things like, well, IB, when AJ was fighting low-level opponents, he was ferocious, but listen, whatever happened to that, we don't know. Now, if Babic ends up going in there and changing and becoming wet as well, then fair play, I'll roast him, but so far so good. And AJ maybe needs to be reminded. Because for me, that's the thing as well. He's a cruiserweight. If a cruiserweight can go in there, Eric Molina had 3 stone on him. If a cruiserweight can go in there and have the confidence to just ring away, I'm not being funny. Babic, yeah, because we can actually compare it. Eric Molina fought AJ, and it took him 7 rounds. Now, arguably, that was a better Eric Molina, but equally, Babic's a lot smaller than AJ is. So Babic did a better job than AJ did. Simple as that. So, Babic, despite being a cruiserweight, is even more ferocious. Why is that? I'll tell you why. Because Team AJ have not nurtured his ferociousness. If AJ had a Cus D'Amato in the corner, you best believe he'd be ferocious. He'd be winging shots. And that's another thing as well. Babic, he throws a whole bunch of shots, and he don't really run out of gas. He's got good conditioning. Where is AJ's conditioning? Where is it, Rob Fritzl? Mr. Robert Fritzl. Where is it? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of everywhere you look, there's a bummy part of AJ. Cardio, none. IQ, none. Aggression, none. Combination, none. Hook, none. Uppercut, none. Everywhere you look. Every single stat, there's something missing. And it's starting to irritate me. Hearing about the gaffer. What, the gaffer with no cardio? The gaffer with no hooks? The gaffer with no uppercuts for a whole fight? What's wrong with you? You big dummy. Yeah? You really are big for nothing, ain't you, AJ? You really are. Because if you weren't, listen, AJ, if you weren't big for nothing, you'd be in DMs right now. YB, man, you're right. You speaking truth right now. Let me get rid of Rob McCrappen and bring you in 100%. Yeah? Let me bring in the YB on a no win, no fee. 100%. Because what do we know? AJ, is Rob working? No win, no fee. AJ, is Fernando Alonso working? No win, no fee. AJ, is Jobber Clayton working? No KO, no fee. Oops. Oh, they ain't. What are they doing in there? What are they doing then? What are they doing? Because I'm telling you now, if you don't, everyone in the division, you should be KOing. Simple as that. That's where we start. We start there. And we work from there. Okay, we're going to KO him. What round are we going to do it in? Let's work out how we're going to KO him. But we're starting there. Not start, well, let's see how we can flap this fight for 12 rounds. And end up on the ropes, rocking and rolling. And with Rob in the corner telling us brilliant. And telling us to keep light on the feet. That's where you man start. Oh, right, AJ, we've got the Usyk fight coming up. Let's work out how we can end up on the ropes in the 12th round. And hanging on for dear life. Oh, AJ, we got the Usyk fight coming up. Let's work out how we can gas the YB. Let's work out how we can gas the YB up 2 days before about Kronk, and then go in there and blow all of his coins. You best believe that's what their man was plotting. How to waste the YB's coins. Yeah. Babic out here. He doing this thing right now. He on this thing. He active. He active in the ring, not in the bando. Yeah? So like I said, this Usyk fight, you should be training with your hands by your waist and march forward. General butt naked style. Because in my opinion, there ain't no shot from Usyk that can hurt you. And in my mind, if Usyk can hit you, you can hit him. And in this camp here, if I was training AJ, yes, I'd train him to have a tight guard. Yes, I'd train him to parry and catch. Yes, I'd train him to step and slip. But ultimately, underlying all of the high-level skills would be, underlying all the high-level skills would be a principle of, if we have to take one to give three, that's what we'll do. Yeah? Because guess what? You was taking one anyway, you big goofy. Did you get that, AJ? Let's not make... I wouldn't mind so much, if your team was super duper smart and super duper tricky. Well, YB, you know. He didn't take... Well, yes, he lost, but he didn't take one punch the whole fight. Wow. You was getting popped anyway. You really are a goofy, ain't you? What's wrong with you? Yeah? If you're going to get hit anyway, you might as well have said, you know what? Number one, I've hired the YB. Number two, we going in there, elbows in, chin down. We're going to walk forward. And when we get popped once, because you know, there's a saying, cash and counter. Or there's a saying, take one and give two. How about that? Because you know, if it's hitting you, if he hits you once, naturally, you should have been rattling off. Okay, every time I feel his hand come near mine, I'm going to lick off 2 shots. Or 3 shots. Simple as that. Every single time. Okay, he's for a right hand. Bang, bang. Because what we know is, he ain't going to last as a cruiserweight. We saw what happened with Chisora, and that's why I rate Chisora, because Chisora almost applied that mentality. Every time Usyk was there, yes, Usyk may get a shot off, but I'm getting 2 off. It's as simple as that. Sometimes, for these tricky dudes, that's how it's got to go. This whole narrative of, oh, well, we can do it where we don't get hit, and you can't do that. You've shown you can't do that. Yeah, you are going to get hit. There's no such thing as not getting hit. Even Floyd got rocked by a whole bunch of people. Even later in his career, when he wasn't trying to get rocked. Pacquiao rocked him. Maidana rocked him. That's the way you're in a fight. And I believe AJ would actually be safer. AJ would have less, or AJ would lose less brain cells, yeah, if he committed to doing the right thing. Why would he lose less brain cells? Because these fights will be going a lot shorter. Rather than putting 12 rounds of mileage, rather than being in the 12th round, gassed and rocking and rolling on the ropes, Usyk would have been out of there in the first 8 rounds. And you'd have taken a lot less damage because you'd have been the one dominating.